Coming up on Unpacked, the second chapter.
I got a call and it was from the child. They just abruptly cut me off. And for them to just think they can just switch it on again when I've made time to work on myself and heal, I felt like it was unfair.
Do you still consider him your son?
The child is not to blame for all this. The child didn't put himself in this situation.
This particular story of Unpacked with Relebogile Mabotja touched so many of you. The love of a father is not biological, and I think we're all aware of that. Let's take a look.
She told me that she wasn't feeling well, and I was like, you know what, you need to go and see a doctor. And then she went to visit the doctor only to find out that she's pregnant. She would complain that she's still studying and I don't help her enough. I've been active in his life. I've done more than just sending money. I was an active parent. I was taking care of him.
He was how old now?
He was already 4 years old. Yes, it was 4 years old. I got a call that she decided to take me to maintenance court. I didn't get the summons, so we can arrange to a different time. However, on one condition, that I be given a chance to do paternity tests. Their DNA matches, and you don't match with either of them. I had doubts, and I didn't let the doubts get the better of me. I took care of that boy like nothing. Even when I had doubts, I didn't allow them. And she knows deep down that I did whatever that was needed for that child. And
so sorry.
I realized that they have moved on, so I may as well just try and move on also.
Seleke, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming through for Unpacked, the second chapter. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thanks. And how are you?
I am good. You're looking bright. You're looking happy. You're looking so well. And I'm happy to see that is the case. The last time we were together, we ended on quite a somber and sad note.
Yes. I was even crying at some point. But I must thank you guys, because after the show, a lot changed. I received an overwhelming support, even people who went through the same thing I went through. And I must say that it was a good therapy for me.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. And I mean, on that note about it being a good therapy for you, you did speak about possibly going to talk to someone about what you were going through. Did you get a chance to do that?
Yes, I did. At work, they have a program where you can book and they provide like a therapist that you can talk to. And I think when I went to the show, I had already started with a therapy, but also I was struggling with those, I don't want to triggers. But I must say that after the show was a very big success in terms of therapy for me, because I got to, it was like the push I needed, or the push I didn't know I needed.
So what actually, made you say, I'm going to speak about this publicly? Because some people might have been ashamed or embarrassed to even speak so publicly. What made you feel like, you know what, I'm going to come and do this?
At first, I always want to be that change I want to see. So, and I feel like our backgrounds and what we go through in life, it becomes our testimony. So when I spoke about it on Twitter, I replied to a tweet on Twitter, which led to you guys knowing about me, was that I just wanted to use my own life, because I believe that whatever we go through in life, whether negative or positive, prepares us to the next level, or where God is taking us. So also I wanted to reach out, because generally men don't talk about their feelings. We, especially Black men, we choose to die inside. We don't open up. So I felt like for me, it will be a good platform to just tell my story. Maybe it may help someone out there who's going through the same thing. Because I remember when it happened, there was a story at the Tembisa hospital where a policeman shot a nurse regarding the same situation. So I also felt obligated in a way to say, let me just reach out and say, guys, things do happen in life. Yes, it may not make sense when they happen, but there's always, there are ways in dealing with it. There are ways of us seeking help. Talking helps. Find someone to just open up. And then it really helped me, because a lot of the times talking, we think that whether be in therapy or at the show, you think maybe people won't give you a solution. But hearing, having someone who's there to listen to you, or to just say, it's going to be all right, goes a long way. Because I've seen it with me after the show, the response and everything. It really made me feel like, you know what, I have something to live for. If I die tomorrow, then I will be remembered for contributing something, or for changing another person's life.
Just in terms of, when you left the show, you made it very clear that your intention is that you still want to have a relationship with your son, even though the paternity test revealed that he's not biologically your son. What happened after that? Did you go and pursue that?
I wanted to pursue it, but since it didn't end on good terms with the mother's family, I felt like I should just because remember when on the show I mentioned it, that she had agreed that we will have a sit down where she tells me her side of the story. But she just made it clear that she's not going to do it. So I had to focus on my own healing, find a way to heal on my own. And also I felt like for the fact that they didn't want to let me in the child's life, and because he is still under their care. So I wanted to respect that, but it was not easy. And I never reached out. But funny, after the show aired, I think a couple of months after that, I got a call, and it was from the child, but I could hear that the mother was around. And then what's funny is that the child, when he answered, when I said hello, he said, "Hello, Papa." And then I asked the child, who asked you to call me? And then the child said, "No, it's Mama." And then I could hear her in the background. So for me, I got disturbed a bit to say, this will continue confusing the child, because I reached out to say, let's talk. Let me hear your side. So I felt like it's not fair when you see me on social media that I've healed and I'm moving on with my life, and one day you just decide to give the child a phone to call me. So I just dropped the call, and then I blocked the number. Sorry to say, because I felt like, you just left me there to, you didn't afford time to give me your side of the story. But all of a sudden, whatever you said to the child when you cut me off, now all of a sudden you want the child to just one day just continue to call me Papa out of the blue, without us really doing it in a proper way. So I felt somehow that it wasn't right, and I never got any call ever again until this point.
Do you think that you were triggered because it could seem like that was such a harsh response to hang up and block the child, even if the mother was setting it up in such a way, but him being innocent, maybe not even being able to understand? Do you think you were triggered in that moment to have responded the way that you did?
Yes, I think I was triggered to respond because remember, I reached out and I was trying to say, I want to hear your side of the story. And knowing how I feel about the child, let's do this gracefully. Yes, I accept if you want to cut me out of the child's life, it's okay. But let's do it gracefully for the child, so that it in a way doesn't disturb their mental health in a way. But they just abruptly cut me off. And for them to just think they can just switch it on again when I've made time to work on myself and heal, I felt like it was unfair. If she had called me on her own to say, you know what, now I'm ready to just talk to you, I'm ready for us to just, give you my side of the story, then I would have respected that. But to just give the child a phone and then make as if nothing happened, I felt like it wasn't right. And I still have hope that the child will grow up and the child will come looking for me one day. And because I kept everything on my Facebook, I kept all the pictures of the child from when he was still young until 5 years old, all the memories. And I like the fact that Unpacked has saved that, the first recording. I even have a link on it on my socials, so that when the child is old enough and he wants to just find his own way, then he can have his way back to me, and I'll be there. Or if God forbid that I pass on, then at least I have something where I told my story without it being misaligned.
And he's quite young right now, 7 years old or 8?
Yeah, I think he's 7 years old.
Let's say he gets to 10 years old and reaches out to you on Facebook on his own. I mean, you won't really know if it's on his own or not, to say, he wants to meet. Would you avail yourself?
I will avail myself because at the end of the day, the child is not to blame for all this. The child didn't put himself in this situation. And also the fact that I still, I still have love for the child, and I want the child to be better, whether biologically is not mine, that doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, he's going to grow up and be a man, and I would want him to be a better man, a good man, because that's how we heal the society, from one man we to the other. So if he reaches out, I'll be gladly there to sit down with him and fill him in on whichever question he has.
So what would you say to him today if he was sitting in this conversation with the both of us?
It's a tough one, but what I would say to him is that sorry, it's kind of taking me back. But what I would say to him is that, I'm here to, if he needs anything, or if he needs to talk, or if he needs that male figure in his life, I'm willing to continue to play that part, or to help out in any way I can. because I bonded with him from birth until 5 years, and that is not something that you can just wake up tomorrow and throw it away. Yeah, if I would say that's what I would say.
And do you still consider him your son?
I still, part of me still does, but I think with everything and dealing with everything, I feel like God put me in his life for a reason. And maybe I feel like for me to have been there from when he was born until 5 years, and for me to take good care of him, to guide him, to nurture him, and give him that love, it was for a specific reason. So I still consider, part of me still considers him as my son.
Mm-hmm. So we've had some comments on the YouTube video of the episode that went out. Comments and questions. So at Rachel Mohokare 5621 says, the relationship between Seleke and the baby was amazing. He went by the name Papa wa Banana. He loved the boy and showed it. You did your best, and we need fathers like you in this generation. What would you like to say to that comment?
No, I would just like to say that thank you so much. I believe that, like I said, that me wanting to be the change that I want to see, and I shared my background even on the show to say that about my upbringing and my parents not being together, and having to go an extra mile to try and work on my relationship with my father, and all that. I just want, in our society, we always say that when we do wrong stuff and say that it's because we never had present fathers and whatever. And for me, I believe it's a choice for you to want to become that change you want to see. So for me, I don't even regret me being in his life and doing everything that I did for him, because I believe God put me there for a reason. And also, so I'm just grateful, and because it's my testimony, and I won't stop doing good, and I strive to be a better man. I strive to be a better father in the future. So I'm just grateful. Yeah, all around I'm grateful.
At Nozizwe Nugu 8905 says, paternity fraud is a crime and it should be punishable by law. Look what this guy is going through. Would you ever consider opening a charge or a case or even a lawsuit?
Never. Or everything I did for the benefit of the child. So me opening a lawsuit also says that I haven't forgiven. So I have forgiven the mother. She doesn't even have to come to me for me to forgive her. I've already forgiven her, and everything I've done for the child. So I will not consider opening a charge or a lawsuit or anything, because I contributed towards making the child's life better. So it's a no for me.
All right. At Grace Novi said, it's very hard to feel sorry for this guy considering that he cheated. I say it's just a serious case of karma. Anyway, wishing him all the best. Do you believe that the situation was karma?
No. I don't believe the situation was karma. I believe, with the response I got from the show and how everything happened, I felt like God was using me to help someone, or to just for a greater purpose. So I don't believe it was karma, because even with the cheating part, for me, it was part of growing up, where we learn from our own mistakes and you want to do better. So I took lessons from it, and this being karma, I don't believe so. I believe it's God's way of using me to impact other people's lives, to say, there's hope. There are better ways of dealing with whatever we go through in life. So I'm just grateful.
So where are you today? I mean, since we last saw you, there have been some major developments. Can you fill us in?
A lot happened. For me personally, I grew, and I use my socials. I'm a hopeless romantic. That's just who I am. So I met someone, I think 2 months after the airing of the show, and it's been amazing. It's been 1 year and 5 months, and last Saturday I went to pay Lobola. So it's just been great. I don't want to lie. It's been amazing. For me, the reason why I went to therapy was, so that I deal with whatever that was holding me back, so that I can be present. I can be a better man. I can be a better brother. I can be a better son, and also a better boyfriend who's now a husband. As much as this situation with the child was sad and everything, but going on therapy and coming to the show helped me reflect back to those childhood traumas that I swept under the carpet. And it helped me uncover them and deal with them. So at this point, I'm far better. I deal with things better, and the person I've grown to a better man I am today.
So, are you hoping, now that you are settled in that department, to have your very own biological child?
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. And the one thing I took from the show is that, not from the show, from my situation, is that a child was made out of wedlock. And everything that happened made me realize that it's not right, or it's not it's not ideal for a child to be born out of wedlock, where you find the parents are not even together, and now it's co-parenting is not easy. So the experience taught me to say, you know what, do things the right way. If you want to have kids, marry the person, create a good environment, and then so that when the kids come, you are able to raise them, and also you are able to be present from the first moment you hear about the pregnancy until. So I took lessons from it, and I just want to do better. Hence, I went to pay Lobola, and I want to get married, so that when I have kids, then the ground is all set. To raise them well, and for me to be a present father.
Thank you so much for coming to catch up, bring us up to speed with where you are at, and also just for opening up and sharing. I think, as you said, it's very difficult for many men to open up about anything that's bothering them, not just situations like this one. And I think if you've even just helped one person, I'm so grateful for that. And it sounds like you've helped so many. So thank you again for sharing your story and for coming through to Unpacked.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the show. Thank you for reaching out, because like I said, the show was therapy to me. And yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm just grateful for the show, for the response I got on social media, and everyone that I meet in the streets. So thank you.
Put all of your questions and comments down below. Let us know how you are feeling around the second chapter, especially this particular story where many of you had questions and completely felt for Seleke in his journey and what he went through and continues to go through. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Unpacked, the second chapter. Next time on Unpacked, the second chapter.
I actually got a WhatsApp from a woman saying that she might know my son. I immediately recognized my mom's handwriting on the document. Look, you never forget, but you do forgive.
How does a mother catch up on 40 years?
Those questions are still open, but there's nobody that's going to be able to answer them.
Is there anybody that you would love to see on the second chapter? Maybe there's a question that you think I should have asked, or something that was burning after you watched and you wished you could have the guest back. Maybe you were confused, or maybe you felt like, there's definitely more to the story. Comment down below and let us know who you'd like to see, which story you'd like to revisit, which guest you'd like us to invite back for Unpacked, the second chapter.